Guys, welcome back to another video from the Football Herd. Hope you're doing wonderfully well. So in this video, I'll be discussing about the key fixture swing that's happening between game week 20 to 24. We'll be discussing about the players that will be missing in AFCON and Asia Cup and who are the best replacements for Son and Salah because they will not be featuring from game week 21. On top of that, we'll also be discussing about the key teams to target in this tenure and the teams to avoid, and also the key players whom we should bring in to have a competitive edge. And also at the end of the video, I'll be discussing about the best wildcard draft for the next phase of the season. So without delaying any further, let's get started. I've given a comprehensive list of all the players from all the teams whom we will not be having from game week 21 till 24. Right? Depending on the progression of their respective national teams, those players will be unavailable. Now, in all the names that you can see, the ones that stand out from the FPL aspect is clearly Mohamed Salah, then Heung-min Son, then the likes of Mitoma, Adingra, then we also have Kabore, and also a few more players, right? So it will be a very important thing to discuss that whom we should bring in instead of these players. In the later part of the video, I'll be discussing categorically about the players to target, whom we can bring in instead of these players, and a replacement for Son and Salah is a no-brainer because the amount of budget that they will be consuming and staying in the bench, that is I think a lot. And also we do not have any confirmed news of Erling Haaland, so we will be chopping and changing and utilizing the entire fund, right? Now let's talk about the key teams to target for this tenure. I'll be talking about 4 important teams that we need to dig deep and bring players from in this specific game week 20 to 24 and above, right? The first team that comes to mind is Manchester City. Now Manchester City have the easiest run of games and they have a very easy opposition in the coming 3 game weeks. 2 of the 3 game weeks are pretty easy for them. And also Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne are on the cards, and we also saw a very resolute City side in the last game where the likes of Phil Foden shine like anything, right? And we are also seeing that once KDB will be integrated to the side, I think City will play very affluent football, and from January onwards I think they will try to push for the league. So and they have already scored a league high goals tally of 43 goals. So I think having City assets is pretty important in this tenure. Now the next team that comes to mind is Arsenal. Even though they faced a 2-0 defeat against West Ham in the last game week itself, but having said that, I feel that still the Arsenal assets are pretty lucrative. We saw that Raya saved the penalty and gave crucial penalty save points. Then the goals that they conceded, the first one was debatable and the second one was from a set piece and it was missed by Gabriel, right? So I think they are a team who have the best expected goals conceded of 0.69 in the last 4 matches, not taking the game week 19 into consideration. Now a double up in the defense is something that I will highly recommend. You can have someone like Raya and go for either of Saliba or Gabriel, I think. And they also scored 36 goals with highest goal difference, expected goal difference of 19.1, which shows that the amount of chances that they're creating, they're converting most of them, and they're conceding least number of chances that are expected from them. Now the third pick is a bit of wildcard entry, you might say, considering their latest form, that is Brighton. Now Brighton faces Wolves, Luton, Palace and the Sheffield side in the next coming 6 game weeks. And having said that, I think that we saw that they were without the likes of Mitoma in the last match, Adingra in the last match, but they have a very good squad depth with young players and they were full of running, and I feel that the return of Estupinan is also very pivotal in this juncture, and we saw him score a wonder goal, right? So I think Brighton are a side that we should put focus on, considering the kind of games that they have and the goal scoring potential that they have, right? So In my opinion, having one or two attackers from their side is, in the watch list at least, is pretty important for having an edge in the effective ownership. And since most of the players are very low owned from Brighton. Now, the next team that I would like to talk about is Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa have scored the league high goal tally of 40 goals, right? And they have won the last 15 out of the 16 home games that they have, right? And they have a pretty easy run of games, and they face the likes of Sheffield, Burnley, Everton, and Fulham next up. So again, having Villa assets is again a no-brainer, considering that a lot of people are saying Watkins out, but he's not out according to me, because he is in a very decent run of form, and he might not score goals of late, but I still think that considering this kind of fixtures, Watkins is a very important FPL asset as a juncture. And not only Watkins, a lot of other players whom I'll discuss in later point in time when I will be talking about the key players that we should target from each of these teams in the next segment. Now from Manchester City, the likes of Phil Foden, who is playing at the number 10 position, and he's being so lively, taking so many shots, he's dribbling, he's passing, and his movement is also very pristine. We saw him strike the woodwork, otherwise he would have also got a goal in the last game itself. So Phil Foden is a no-brainer option in my opinion if you want to rank push. And next up, I think it's Bernardo Silva. And last but not the least, it's Alvarez. I was pretty not keen on saying Alvarez, because if you do not have Alvarez, I will not say you bring in Alvarez in. But if you do have Alvarez, you can stick to him, because we do not have a confirmed news on Erling Haaland. But buying Alvarez is not something that I would recommend. Now coming to Arsenal, I think the likes of Saka, Odegaard, and Saliba stand out. And if you want a double up, then you can definitely go for Raya and Saliba in my opinion. And then coming to Brighton, it's João Pedro, Estupinan, and Pascal Gross in my opinion, because Estupinan is someone that does not only give you clean sheet points but also a lot of attacking returns. And since he's back to full fitness and played the entire 45 minutes and scored a wonder goal, I think it's pretty important that we bring into the FPL managers notice that he's someone to reckon, considering the wild fixtures that we have of Brighton, right? And also João Pedro, because he is on penalties, and he is linking up amazingly well. And I think that if you want a differential striker, then João Pedro is a very good shout at this juncture. Now the last team is Aston Villa, and the assets of Aston Villa, according to me, would be Watkins, then Konsa at the back, and Luiz, because Luiz is a pretty important player for Aston Villa, and we saw him that he is on pens, and also he is someone that takes the dead balls. So I think Luiz is also a pretty decent differential option from Villa. Now coming to the teams to avoid, this will be a couple of shock picks. The first would be Liverpool in my opinion, because they have pretty decent in tough games coming up, the likes of Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Bournemouth. They are pretty easy fixtures on paper, but I do not think that they will be that much straightforward, considering that Bournemouth are pretty solid at the back, and Newcastle can be also pretty compact. Now they have not been too much compact in the games of late, but I do feel that the absence of Mohamed Salah will be pretty pivotal for the likes of Liverpool, right? And we only saw that Trent and Salah were the standout performers of Liverpool. So in the absence of Mohamed Salah, I will not recommend anyone but only Trent. If you want to have any Liverpool assets, in my opinion, it's only Trent Alexander-Arnold as of now. And the next team, that's Newcastle. Now, we were all jumping on Newcastle double-up defenders, then the likes of Anthony Gordon, then Isak Wilson. But I do not think that considering the kind of games that Newcastle have, we will not recommend you to have any Newcastle assets. I will definitely go for a Trent than a Trippier. and they have looked pretty lackluster and fatigued and filled with injuries. So, in my opinion, if you do not have any other important questions or important places, where you want to fix those issues, I think getting rid of Newcastle assets should be one of the priority right now, because I think there are a lot of better options if we try to look outside Newcastle, and we can definitely opt for those options and not go for the likes of Anthony Gordon, then Trippier and Isak and Wilson, right? Now, the best Son and Salah replacement. Now, considering what kind of goal you have for this time round, you can go for it. Like if you are looking to break through into the top 100k or top 10k, right? Then I think going for a pretty differential option like Garnacho or Bruno should be pretty important for you, right? And if you want to play it safe, I think the likes of Jared Bowen is a very good replacement for Salah or Son. Now, if you want to cover only Son, right, and not Salah, then if you want some Spurs assets, I would say the likes of Kulusevski or Richarlison should be on the radar, right? Richarlison, because he will be playing as the first striker, right? And he will be playing as a number 9, and Kulusevski from the right. And we also saw that Brian Gill had an amazing game when he was playing from the left, right? So I think he will be the one who will take the charge of the left wing when Son will not be there. And last but not the least, if you want to have my final recommendation of Son and Salah replacement, I would say that I'll go for Foden and Bowen, right? Because Foden is someone that is in blistering form, and the kind of fixtures that City have, I've spoken at length previously, like the amazing run of games that City have. I think Phil Foden is a pretty decent pick right now. So straightforward, I would say that go for Bowen and Foden instead of Son and Salah. And if you are pushing rank, then probably go for a differential Bruno or Garnacho, and then one of the safe picks. In goal, I have gone with Flecken, because I think that I will not be investing in a double up of Arsenal as of now. So in goal, I have gone with Flecken, who has a decent run of games in my opinion. Then in defense, I have Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gabriel and Pedro Porro. Now, having Pedro Porro is a bit of a dilemma right now, because in my opinion, the absence of Christian Romero and Van der Veen makes the Spurs defense pretty shaky. But we do not own Pedro Porro for only his defensive prowess, right? We also own him for his attacking set pieces and his attacking flair, right? So I think Pedro Porro should be nailed. Now, coming to the midfield is a midfield 5 of Bowen, Saka, Richarlison, Foden and Palmer. Now, a couple of spots are debatable, like you can definitely go for someone like I think Garnacho instead of Palmer if you want differential points. Otherwise, I think this 5 is pretty awesome, considering that we do not have any other issues to take care. And if you have the wild card, I think this 5 set of players in the midfield is pretty amazing as of now. And then at the top, it's Watkins and Alvarez. I feel that this is a pretty good lineup, considering that we do not have any confirmed news on Haaland. But if you have the wild card to play, I'll definitely bring Haaland and put him at the first sub. The substitute goalkeeper in this wildcard draft is Neto. I think Neto and Flecken rotate amazingly well till game week 30. And also the second of the bench is Konsa, and third is Taylor. Now Konsa, because we can chop and change whenever we require, so I have kept a strong bench. Only Taylor is someone we can compromise, otherwise it's a pretty flexible lineup of 3-5-2, which we can do 3-4-3 as well when Erling Haaland is fit, right? So this is a very decent wildcard draft in my opinion. Let me know how you feel about this wildcard draft, and if you have the wildcard left with you or not. So that's it guys, that was all about this fixture swing video from Gaming 2024. This is the first time that we are doing this kind of a video which spans for 5 game weeks. So please do let us know if you like this content, and please drop a like and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. And I'll be very happy to help you. If you have any questions, drop them below. So all the best for game week 21. I'll catch you guys in the next one.